Hey gang, today's a good day. We've got some aquarium stuff going on here. I've done a video on this. I'm going to do another video on it because it seems that there's a lot of people into this hobby. And I am too. Long time ago, I had a 55 gallon. It became a little bit too much. So I ended up giving that away. But us people who are in the fish hobby, I had to go get another aquarium. So I went and I got a little 10 gallon. Well, it went well. It did go well because I had a goldfish that I've had living for years and years. I mean, I must have had him for like 8 years. So in that 55 gallon, I had a whole bunch of tiger barbs, but they were nipping at my goldfish, and I didn't really like that. So I ended up moving that goldfish into a little 10-gallon tank. And I gave the 55 in the stand away because it was just getting to be too much at the time. I was in the middle of rearranging the house, and it was just in a room that I just really couldn't keep it anymore. So now I have kind of cleared out my bedroom in such a way that I built this stand here. And now I can have 2 aquariums. And no, I do not have that 10 gallon anymore. I gave that away to a family. I guess it's going to go for their child. 10 gallon tank it's good for a child. But right here, I found this. This is I believe a 25 gallon. It's 24 inches wide by 20 high. Now, I like that a lot. 20 high. That is stunning because compared to that 10 gallon, and I had a 20 long, which they're only about 12 inches high. This being 20 inches high just totally gives you much more viewing room. I mean, the tank is stunning as deep as it is. So I found this tank here off at Craigslist. And let me tell you what, folks, there is a lot of tanks on Craigslist in your neighborhood. People are always trying to get rid of aquariums, and they're there. You don't need to run to a pet store and buy a brand new one. You can get one used, and you can see here, I had very good luck with this one. I had to buy that top. Now, you can go to a glass company, and you can have them cut you a top. I bought that top, but you can have a glass company make you a top. And it's as easy as that. So after I picked up this 25 gallon and I realized how stunning it was being tall, I went back on Craigslist and I found this 29 gallon. And let me tell you what, a 29 gallon, I have heard a long time ago that this is the perfect size tank. And you know what? It really is. Because this is 30 inches wide. 30 inches wide is nice. And again, it's 20 inches tall. So it's plenty wide enough and it's plenty tall enough to give you some real viewing ability. Like, it's a very spacious, viewable tank. Those little tanks, those long tanks that are only 12 inches tall, I'm not going to say there's anything wrong with them, but boy, when I picked up this tank here, it was stunning. After I filled it up with water, it was just stunning. The height really makes the difference. Another reason why I steered away from the 55 gallon is because they're just too heavy for one person to pick up. I can pick up these empty myself, no problem. But yeah, a 55 gallon, it takes two people to move that, and I don't really have help from people. So this is just really a mid-sized tank, but it's tall. And in this tank right here, as you can see, I just picked up some more fish. I've got some cherry barbs in here, and I've been very successful. I still have all 6 of them. All 6 of them are still living. There's 2 of them here. And there's 4 of them here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. I got all 6 of them still. And I picked up 4 more. I don't know if you can see. Kind of hard to see. But yeah, we're going to let those guys go free here in about an hour. I'm going to let them sit and let that temperature acclimate, because I did just do a water change. Now, let me tell you, it is so important. So important. I'm going to give you 2 of the most important tips when it comes to this. There's 2 things. Only 2 things that you really, really must do to prevent your fish from dying. Number 1, do not overfeed them. Overfeeding them will kill them. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Fish, believe it or not, they do not eat much. They can go for days without being fed. Now, when you feed them, you want to give them just a tiny, tiny, tiny pinch. And watch them and make sure that they eat all of that food while it's up at the top before it gets down to the bottom. Because what's going to happen is if you're overfeeding them, you're going to get tons of food, like whole uneaten flakes at the bottom. And it's just going to keep collecting and collecting. And before you know it, your fish are going to start dying one after another. And the other tip that I have, tip number 2, very important, do your water changes. Do your water changes. And I don't mean just change the water. I mean, get that vacuum in there and clean that gravel while you're doing that water change. 25%. Do it every week. Every week. In order to keep a clean tank that you can avoid having your fish die from ammonia, do not overfeed them. Feed them very little. And keep that tank clean by doing your water changes. 2 of the most important things. And right here is a way to make your life easy. If you have a tank or 2, get a trash can like this with wheels. I've seen this on Aquarium Co-op. Thank you, my friend. This is just a lifesaver. You do your water change right in this trash can. And then when you're done, just siphon it in the bathtub, let it drain out. I can do both tanks at the same time and not carry any buckets. Now to fill it with water, you'll have to carry buckets, but this is the way to get your water change done quickly. Now back to here, I got 2 sponge filters. Do I need 2? I don't know, but I think that the more bubbles, the better. You really want to give them that circulation. It's kind of like being in a room with a fan. You know how a fan just makes your life more comfortable? Well, that's what it's like for the fish when they have the air stones. You get plenty of water circulation, and it just helps the fish to be more comfortable. You can't just stick them in a bowl. They will die. Now, your air setup right here, you just get a 3-way or a 4-way. And I believe that's a Whisper 50? I'm not sure. Whisper 50? Whisper 40? I don't know. But get a real pump. And in this tank here, also I got 2 sponge filters. That circulation is very important. And you see at the top the ripples. The water's rippling. It's good. Now, my friends, I'm going to give you another tip. Remember when I was talking about overfeeding? Oh yeah, I overfed my fish, killed every one of them. Went out and bought some more, and watched them just die one after another. You know why? Because I was overfeeding them. And while I was vacuuming the gravel, whole fish flakes were just floating around in this water here. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. I'd learned my lesson about overfeeding. Those whole flakes will float down, it will rest in the gravel, and it will turn your tank into toxic ammonia. And your fish will die. So here is a little tip, okay? If that ever happens to you, what you want to do is you want to get in this tank and you want to do your water change, okay, with your vacuum. Stir up all of that gravel like I just did right there. Stir it all up. And you don't see it now, but this whole tank was full of just flakes and shit all in. I mean, you can still see some little particles of junk, but it ain't nowhere as bad as it was. Get in there with your vacuum, do your water change, take it down half, or even 3/4, okay? Fill it up, stir that gravel around, and get all of that food and shit floating. And what you do is you take this net. Now this net, it works as picking. It doesn't just work for picking up fish, man. It is a very fine net. So basically, you get in here and you start moving all of these stones, and you'll see these particles of junk. You just take this net and you go through, and you can net up all these particles of fish food and junk. You can get some really small particles of junk. And I'll show you. I'll show you here. Just go in there and just kind of just go back and forth. And if you look at that, I'm collecting. See the junk down there? I'm collecting a lot of junk. So my friends, that is a tip to getting your tank back in stable condition after you've destroyed it by overfeeding. You got to get that net in there and just keep stirring up that gravel and just keep netting that debris. You will turn it around. It will turn around. I'm going to have to give it another month, let it become established. It takes about a month. You don't want to rush anything in this hobby. It takes about a month. But you will turn your situation around. And it's all, it's a learning experience. It takes practice. Like anything. Like building things, it takes practice. Everything takes practice. You live, you learn, and that's it. Yeah, I got a very healthy habitat right here. Why did I go with cherry barbs? Well, they're cheap fish. They grow about maybe 2 inches. They're small, so I figure, hey, I can put a nice big school in here. This is a schooling fish. And I'm just going to have a nice big school of this fish. What am I going to put in this tank? Well, I don't know. I did the tiger barb thing. But I really like those comet goldfish. Those guys just swim at a moderate pace. They're constantly just peacefully swimming and kind of like picking at the gravel, and they're really relaxing to watch. So that's probably what I'm going to get after this situation here straightens out. So that's it, my friends. I got a 25 gallon and a 29 gallon on the stand that I built. And the lighting, yeah. These Aqua Neat lights. You can get them off of Amazon. They sell them in a lot of different lengths. Matter of fact, this is a 24-inch wide tank, and that's only a 12-inch light. See how small that light is? But look, it illuminates the whole tank. So you only need a small light like that. So, and these lights are cheap, man. They're like $10. So I would definitely recommend the Aqua Neat light. There's some green, blue, and red, and it gives it some color. It definitely gives it some color. Much better than the old fluorescents. Okay, that's it. I'm out.